image was taken in Hosier Lane. The reason that I called it Love Junk is because there's a garbage truck driving off and there's a couple that you can't really see, but once it's pointed out you can kind of see them, but they're standing there kissing. So that's where the name came from. This was taken on the Hasselblad. Yum! It was an 8-second exposure on a tripod, of course. I've photographed Hosier Lane a few times. From my perspective, there's no point if I can't kind of add to the story, if, just telling the same story. And most people would say, garbage truck, don't do that. But that created a really interesting movement in the frame. And then as I was setting up, the couple were kissing on the side. Some friends of theirs said, they're so drunk they're not even going to notice you. And I kind of said something to them and they just kind of waved at me and kept going. Anyhow, that's the story behind the shot. I definitely go back to the same places. I don't always stop, but if you look back at our permutations video, you can go to the same space and it can represent itself to you many different ways, thousands of different ways. One of the main things for me visiting it this time, because I hadn't really visited it with any great strong desire in a number of years, was because of the Hasselblad, to see how that changed things and what all this texture and detail would look like with a camera with such amazing lenses and such high resolution. Every time you have a major shift in the tool that you're using, it does actually change the way you see and interpret things. And this has been the single biggest jump going from my standard gear to the Hasselblad ever, besides jumping from film to digital. But that was still, the lenses were the same and everything was quite similar. The lenses are such a massive shift. It was probably the first or second time I'd actually gone out specifically to shoot. And the question that really was in my head was, can I even make this work with what I want to do? Because really it's more than anything, it's sort of a studio camera. It's big, it's heavy. I didn't know how it would react to light and dark, but the high dynamic range that sometimes night, you have really bright lights and really dark shadow areas. And everybody's style of photography and what they're trying to achieve is different. So you might hear a review or read a review and they'll say it's good at that, but not good at this. But we all do things differently. So in the end, I really don't know how things are gonna work until I do it myself. But what I did know is I was deliberately had the wide angle lens on, and I wanted to see how much this wide angle lens could capture. So that was so it was all about that night it was all about the wide angle lens and long exposures, which I hadn't done for a long time because the cameras today allow you to walk around without a tripod at night. You can if you want to. So this was harking back 10, almost 15 years to where I had to use a tripod all the time, and the Hasselblad, I do have to use a tripod at night. There's just simply not enough light. I love the fact that the truck looks like something out of Back to the Future. It's just, hit hyperdrive and off it's gone. That there's sort of this hidden couple in the corner that you don't quite notice at first because there's so much else to look at, but there they are. The beautiful texture on the blue wall, you can see all the cracks and all of that information's there, and there's so much texture. The fact that it had been raining, so it's a little bit shiny, which I always like. And I love the mixture of color temperatures, which is all the different lights, there's blues and greens and all these different things going on. So you really feel like you can immerse yourself and it really feels like what it feels like, if that makes any sense. It's like I'm there. And just a week or two ago, we printed a really large version for the first time. It's almost 3 meters wide, and it just looks amazing because it's almost scale 1:1. And because the Hasselblad is so high resolution, you still can't see grain or anything like that. You really do feel like you're there. I suppose for me, if you can create another sensation besides just visual, like I can feel it. If you can create movement, that's another sensation, and if you can kind of feel it, that's another sensation. So if the photograph can go beyond just being this flat thing, I get pretty excited.